Hey, so do you guys want me to call a doctor or something? Nah, man, we're good. No injuries here. Yeah, of course, we're doing fine. Yeah, nothing to worry about. We're in perfect health. All right, today we'll be taking a look at some custom painted battle damaged predator figures, going from this guy, least battle damaged, to this guy, most battle damaged. And in case anyone was wondering, these are the four colors that I used in order to create the predator blood. The one on the left here for that fluorescent green. The next one just for general application and to act as a base. And the color shift one here for metallic green color and also glow in the dark just to glow in the dark. Alright, so here's some quick results of the predators glowing a little bit. I left them outside in the sun for about an hour or so. And certain parts are glowing, certain parts aren't glowing. But yeah, that's kind of how it looks when it's a lot darker. End result, honestly, not too bad all things considered. So this guy's on the McFarlane Jungle Hunter. I guess you could call it figure, but it's practically a statue. And I found this guy at a swap meet, so he was in pretty bad condition already. You see right there, he has like no foot, and he's missing all sorts of other things. But the only paint I applied here was just for the wounds, obviously, because he's missing a foot. I decided, hey, why not make a foot wound? And honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. You can see how much blood is on it. I think it looks really cool. He looks like he's suffering a lot from it. And I put a little bit on his knee pad here too. I don't know if it really makes sense, but put some there. Also put some on his feet here and on his toes, just for a little bit of like battle damage injury. Also put one on his thigh right here, which you can see he probably got hit right here and it came up onto his armor. And also a little bit on his torso here, going onto his armor. And I put a decent amount onto his console right here as well, and on the backhand of his hand here, going all the way to his fingers. And a little bit on the side right here, almost I guess you would say where his kidneys are, a little bit on the back. And I didn't put any on his mask or on his gauntlet with the claw on here, because I felt like a little asymmetry would have been pretty cool to see on this guy. But I think the main showcase is definitely on the back of this figure here. You see his little bit on the back armor, but the main part is his head here. At the swap meet when I found him, he was already missing some of his hair. So, I just figured, hey, might as well put on blood on it because it does look pretty cool. Honestly, I think it looks like a xenomorph head bite, if you ask me. So that's why I mainly use him for. But yeah, this guy's the least battle damage out of all the predators. This next guy is on the old NECA Wolf Predator. So yeah, this guy, let's just get the elephant out of the room. He is significantly more battle damage. But I'm going to do this because his head is just completely broken. There's a story behind it, but that's for another day. But let's just take a look at his body. So obviously, I applied significantly more battle damage onto this guy. So starting off with the leg here, you can see that like most of his calf here has been damaged, and it's even bleeding onto his armor and a little bit onto his sides of his feet right here too. But there's none on this side. I thought a little asymmetry would have been cool, but I did apply some onto his thigh here, leaking on more onto the armor. But significantly on the left side of his body here, there's a bunch of wounds here, a couple different wounds and blood spatter, a little bit onto his loincloth. When you go to the front, you can obviously see that the big wound on his thigh here leaked onto the waist armor even more, the loincloth. And on his torso, you can see it's all over the place. He got hit right here and it spattered onto his armor. Obviously, he's bleeding all the way up here because his head got ripped off. And for the neck piece here, the neck piece broke off when I originally had him, so it's just been replaced with a screw. And although I did paint it, some parts of it are starting to peel off a little bit, but that's nothing that I can't just go back and fix. You can see here, he's bleeding all over the place, even bled a little bit to his back armor here too. And then on his right arm here, it's just his backhand that has a little bit of bleeding on it. Meanwhile, his left side, this used to be a little armor piece here that plugged in, but it got ripped out and I can't find it. So I just decided to just paint it in. Honestly, all things considered, that's a really gnarly wound to leave something that big. And on his elbow right here, it's bleeding all over the place. And he even lost two of his fingers too. So he's bleeding all over his left side of his body. And also went through the effort of painting a little bit of stuff onto his little console piece here. Just a little red and a little blue, just to add some color to it, because originally there was no color to it. And I thought it'd be kind of cool just to see some color. And of course, more spatter on the armor. But aside from this guy's body, let's move on to let's see his head, if he can stand. There you go. Alright, moving on to his headpiece. So if the camera focus here, obviously his head's still mostly intact. It's just the fact that, it doesn't peg on like it's supposed to. And originally, I don't think it was supposed to be removable at all. So go me for doing that. But yeah, I applied some blood onto his mask here, sides of his face, and a little bit on the front here too. So he's been puking up blood. And of course, because his head got ripped off, then he's bleeding all over the place here. See inside his neck there's the hole. He's bleeding all over the place. There's a lot of blood everywhere. It's even covered his hair all back here too. His hair is just drenched in blood, mainly on the tips here, this side. And I had a little bit on the top here too, just for some more hemorrhaging and more bleeding. But yeah, this guy is the second most battle damaged. Significantly more than the first one, but definitely not as much as the third one. And we will get to that one. Alright, and last up is the most battle damaged predator. This guy is on the NECA City Hunter. So yeah, this guy's the most battle damage. Obviously, you could tell from the blood, he's significantly more battle damage than the other two. But he even comes with a cool new feature and channeling his own inner Waylon Bishop.
It's just Bishop, you dolt.
Yeah, he comes apart. But that's a story for another day. If you guys are interested, maybe I'll make a video on it. But let's just take a look at this guy first. Let's start off with the legs, just because we've been starting off that way. So obviously, a lot more blood on this guy here. His toes, both his feet this time. There's a lot of blood on both sides of the body. A lot of blood right there on the foot, if it'll focus. And I even put some on the bottom of the feet too. You can see his back heel here. Caught a lot of blood. Some blood and damage here. Back of his thighs right there. He caught it on the upper parts of his back thighs. Side thigh here. This was supposed to be to hold his smart disc, but that piece broke. So I decided, just like Wolf Predator, hey, might as well make it a wound. And also on his knee pads, his upper thighs here, especially on the left thigh here. He got hit pretty bad. And of course, his waist, of course, has a bunch of blood on it. And this is where the peg was originally supposed to go, but, just colored it in, so he has a bunch of damage. And of course, he even has some damage or blood leakage onto his, I guess, butt cheeks here and his waist. And he does come with this little loincloth piece, although I didn't paint it, although I probably should have. But oh well. But the good thing about having the waist piece is that at least I can kind of put him together so he almost looks like he's still in one piece. But let's look at the rest of the body. Alright, so looking at the top of the body, let's start at the bottom here. So this is the peg that he originally had. And honestly, he didn't really articulate that well anyways, but when he broke, I just decided, hey, might as well just, I guess, make this into his spinal cord. Honestly, I think it looks pretty gnarly. There's a lot of blood all over the place here. Covers his armor, even up to his chest. His back armor specifically, too. It's all over the place here. You can also see it on his right arm, too. He got hit on his upper bicep. Got all bunch of blood on his wrist gauntlet here. Claws are also broken, too. Honestly, I think it adds a little bit of character to him. He's been fighting so much that his claws broke. He's got a bunch of blood onto his hand here, too. Probably trying to, cover up his wound and hold his innards in. Upper chest here, he's got a little bit of damage onto his armor. He's even bled onto his shoulder here. His console piece is also covered with blood. He's even got it on his fingers on this side too. A little bit less than the right hand, but there's still some blood. And then, of course, on his mask here, a little bit on the front, a bunch of blood spatter all over the place. And I also added a little bit onto his hair here. Less than Wolf Predator, but just a little bit to show like maybe there's some damage that he received on his head. And also a little bit there for blood spatter. But yeah, all in all, I think this guy is probably my most impressive work when it comes to the battle damage predators. Especially because, just making the best out of a broken figure. And even when you get him to kind of stand too, he does look pretty cool. Almost like he's on his last stand before he falls. Only issues that sometimes he can't stand, but, well, it looks like he's doing it perfectly now. And for a small comparison, here's all these battle damage predators next to the NECA Ultimate Jungle Hunter. who's in a significantly better health condition compared to these guys. So yeah, those are my custom painted battle damage predators. Overall, I think they turned out pretty good considering the all figures that were broken that I just painted up. But with that said, I've been Figuristic Productions. If you're interested in more of this content, consider subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment below with any of your thoughts or opinions. And I'll see you all in the next one.